Hello friends, I'm Raj and my task is to help you understand AI related things easily. Recently, OpenAI has published SDK to build agents called OpenAI Agents. It was priorly known as Swarms, but now they have rebranded it into OpenAI Agents. So in this video, we will look into this SDK and see what different capabilities it has. So let's get started. First, I'm here in my terminal and I'll create a new virtual environment using Python 3-venv and it will create a new virtual environment for me. I'll source into that virtual environment. And I'll also open Visual Studio Code to run few amount of code as well. So yeah, it says some things. Okay, let me do it side by side. Now the SDK says that the first thing is to install the dependency. So let's do that. So I'll come here, install the dependency. Here I'll create a file called main.py and the SDK says that there are few things that this SDK does. It is basically Python first, so everything is built in native Python, so it is easy to understand. Then it has agent loop. That means agent will loop between tools and LLM until LLM is done generating the final answer. There is handoff so that you can delegate between task delegation between multiple agents. There is guardrail so that you can run input and output validation into this. There is built-in function tools. For example, they have released web search, they have released file search. Also there is tracing as well. They have provided tracing support as well, so you can see all the traces from start to end of the agent itself. So let's copy this primary example and let's come here and let's paste the example. It says that from agent, import agent and runner, create agent, and then with the help of runner use run sync. It takes the agent and the result. So let me save this and let's clear the screen and I'll say Python main.py and it says that OpenAI API key is not set. So what I'll do is that I'll pip install python-env, hit enter, create a new env file, and I'll very quickly generate API key. I'll copy that, I'll paste it here, I'll save this, I close this. Let's write a config.py file. I'll read all the variables from this. So I'll say from .env import load and find, and I'll say load and find, and meanwhile I'll import OS as well. So I'll say OpenAI API key equals to os.get OpenAI API key, and at this point I think what we need to do is that we need to set it into the environment, or you can basically export that. So I'll do that as well. So I'll say os.environ OpenAI _API_key equals to config dot OpenAI API key, and once I do that, hopefully we will able to run the code. Yeah, it has run the code, and it says OpenAI API key is not set, skipping trace report. So okay, there is a total different setting for tracing, but the thing worked. Code within code spin, endless loop in mirrored halls, logic finds its end. Okay, so it's a kind of a great haiku, and we have given the prompt, write a haiku about recursion in programming. So you can see here the structure. You create an agent with the agent class. It has different things. You can provide model and other model setting tools and things like that. And once you set this thing up, you can call the run sync method. It takes the agent and it takes the prompt, and it has this final output, and it shows the output. So this is the kind of a basic structure of this thing. Let's look into other examples. Let's go to quick start. So under quick start, it says that create first agent. We have done that. Here are the two agents, and there is a triage agent which has hands-off functionality. So you can provide two agent, and it will delegate the task to the appropriate agent based on the task. So let's run this as well itself. So we have these things, let me create these two things. Okay, I'll copy this. So I'll get rid of these things. I'll create history tutor agent and math tutor agent. I'll create a kind of a supervisor agent which can delegate task to any of the agents. And then there is a, so we have runner itself. Let's create async, and let's run this. So it says, what is the capital of France? So I'll run this. Oh, my bad. Oh, if underscore name equals to underscore main underscore, then I guess I'll need to import async IO. So I'll import async IO, and here I'll say async IO run main. Okay, I'll do this, and let's run this. So it says that the capital of France is Paris and things like that. What is the capital of France? Okay, and we can ask anything about math as well. So what is quadratic equation? Let's see this. Oh, it has generated beautiful response about quadratic equation. So now there is a guardrail. This guardrail means you can validate the input, validate the output based on the guardrail that you set. So when you set the guardrail, it will validate the input. If it is valid input, it goes ahead, otherwise it breaks the flow. So I guess here in the quick start guide, That is example of guardrail. You can see here. So you have a pydantic model which represents what's your output look like. It's is, homework, boolean, and reasoning behind that. So it says that guardrail agent, guardrail check if the user is asking about homework or not, and the output type is this. So structure the output into strict this class. And here in homework guardrail, it says that first run on the guardrail with the input data, get the final output. Okay, it says that final output as final output as this model. And it says that if output, so it is on homework, then move ahead, otherwise break the task. So you can see here. Okay, let me copy the same example and let's see how it goes. So I'll come here, I'll paste everything. I guess it has everything, but somehow I messed up with this thing, so I'll not do that. Okay, here, and yeah, there are some redundant inputs, but let's work with that at this point. So here, if you see, we are asking who is first president of United States. So that's based on homework, because we have math and history agent. So obviously the first question is based on history, but this is what is life is not related to any of the agents, so it will break there. So when I say python main.py, so it gave the first answer, but for the second answer it says that triggered tripwire. It did not run the whole thing. But you can also modify this behavior as well. You can say that instead of doing that, say that I cannot answer about life, I can only answer about math and history homework. So if you see here, there are lots of things. For example, there is a tool. So I want to show you two tools that OpenAI has released. We have web search tool. They have released this web search tool. So let me copy this. There's few things, and let's see how this goes. So here I'll remove all of these things. Okay, I'll paste this thing, and let's get rid of unwanted imports. So I'll not use file search, but I'll show you how to use file search. So let me comment this at this moment. So we have web search tool, and the question it asks is which coffee shop should I go to, taking into account my preferences and weather in San Francisco. So I'll save this and I'll clear this, but taking into account my preferences, I'll remove that because we have removed the file search. I'll show you how that works as well. Which coffee shop should I go to, taking into account the weather today in San Francisco. So I'll also modify this as well. Okay, and I'll say get the best ones. I'll save this and I'll say python main.py. Now what this does is that hosted tool by OpenAI, and that lets LLM search the web and only supported with OpenAI model and response API. And you can see that San Francisco, so the mill You can see the URL as well. This coffee Trieste, this Abanico, and okay. So these are the few, coffee shops or coffee cafe into San Francisco. If you are into San Francisco, I suggest looking into them. So let's move ahead. So if you come here, I'll go to my dashboard. Under storage, you will find two things: files and vector stores. If you click on vector store and create vector store, this will create a new vector store. You can name it as you want to identify it afterwards. It has very reasonable costing. So now you can copy this vector ID, upload files into this thing. It will host everything, is handled by OpenAI. And when you come back here, you just uncomment this and provide your vector ID here. Once you provide that, it will see which tool has the answer, or it can use those tools one by one. For example, if the question was like based on my preferences and weather in San Francisco, so first it will take what's the weather in San Francisco, then it will go into file search and search about my preferences, and then based on weather and my preferences, it will again call this weather tool to search for the coffee shops or cafes, and then finally generates the answer. So this is kind of a very powerful things OpenAI has published. So let's come back here. I'll delete that as I don't need it. Then there is a functionality to create your own tool as well. So for example, this is a fetch weather tool which takes location, which is a kind of a pipe-netting model, and you annotate the function with function tool, and you can use it into tools. Then there is a context management. So here what you can do is that you can set a context about, let's say, user, and you can pass the context when you run the agent, and this context, and in your functions you will receive the context as well. So this is a kind of a very helpful thing. Then there are lots of different things provided by OpenAI. I'm yet to explore all of these things, but I guess this will give you a good starting point to understand this framework and learn about it and build stuff on this OpenAI Agent SDK. If you have any question regarding this SDK, please write down in the comment section. I'll get back to you. And if this video is helpful to you and you have gained some knowledge out of this video, please consider subscribing to my channel. That helps. Thank you for watching. Enjoy the life. Feel the music. Peace.